Hey everyone, welcome. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning into this explainer today because we are going to uncover a massive, kind of hidden financial reality that catches almost everyone completely off guard. We are talking about the real, hard mathematical cost of waiting just a few years to start investing. Look, we all know we should invest early, right? But actually seeing the exact numbers, it is a total game changer. It completely shifts how you view your money and, more importantly, your timeline. So let's just dive right in.
I'll start when I'm making more money. I just need to get stable first. We have all heard this, right? Honestly, maybe you've even said it yourself. You hear things like, the market is just too high right now, or I've got to pay off these student loans first. And look, these excuses sound incredibly responsible. They sound totally reasonable. It genuinely feels like the adult thing to do. But here is the truly fascinating reality. There is an exact, specific dollar amount attached to every single month you wait to invest. And today, we're going to actually write that number down.
All right, let's get into it with Section 1, the responsible delay. Let's meet two guys, Jake and Marcus. Okay, so meet Jake and Marcus. Now, what's really important to notice here is just how perfectly matched these two are. Both are 22, fresh out of school, working an entry-level job. Both have exactly $18,000 in student loans. Both are making an identical salary of $38,000 a year, and both have about $300 a month left over in their really tight budgets. We're setting this exact same baseline because we need to prove, without a doubt, that the only variable in this entire story is time. This brings us to Section 2, two paths at 22. Let's see how their timelines diverge from here. Right, let's start with Marcus. Look, taking $300 out of a really tight paycheck feels, honestly, kind of irresponsible to him. So he follows the perfect textbook sequence. He pays down his debt, he builds up an emergency fund, and then he plans to invest. And hey, by 25, he is completely debt-free. That's awesome. But waiting to get truly completely settled means Marcus doesn't actually open a brokerage account to invest that $300 a month until he hits 32 years old. That's a full 10-year delay. But while Marcus is waiting, Jake goes a completely different route. Despite that identical tight budget, Jake just quietly starts putting $300 a month into a total market index fund starting right at age 22. And he just pays the minimums on his loans. By age 25, the exact moment Marcus becomes debt-free, Jake has scraped together a very modest $13,000 in his investment account. Now, it doesn't look like much at all, but assuming a 10% annual return over the next 40 years, that $13,000 alone is going to grow to approximately $590,000 by retirement. And that's before he adds another dime. That is the astonishing math that Marcus just never ran.
So Marcus is finally ready to go, bringing us to Section 3, the catch-up illusion. Let's pull up the age 42 scoreboard.
Okay, let's check out this midlife scoreboard. Both guys are now 20 years into their adult lives. Jake has been consistently investing for 20 years. Marcus has been at it for 10. They're both putting in the exact same $300 monthly contribution. But look at this gap. Jake's portfolio is sitting at roughly $206,000, while Marcus is at $57,000. The wealth gap is already $149,000. The only difference is time. But Marcus isn't really panicking yet. Because he focused on his career and stability in his 20s, he's got a nicer apartment, a better car, and plenty of cash flow right now.
Feeling pretty financially comfortable now, a 42-year-old Marcus decides, okay, it's time to get aggressive. He wants to close that gap. So at age 43, he literally doubles his monthly contribution to $600. He is serious now. But here is the absolutely crucial question for us. Will doubling his investment effort in his 40s actually be enough to catch up to Jake? What do you think?
Let's fast forward to age 52 and see how this plays out. Jake has been investing for 30 years now and Marcus for 20. Jake's portfolio has snowballed to an incredible $592,000. Marcus, despite pouring $600 a month into his account for an entire decade, is at $340,000. Do you see what just happened? The gap didn't close. It actually widened. It stretched to $250,000. Even though Marcus is out here trying literally twice as hard, he's just watching Jake pull further away.
And this right here perfectly illustrates a frankly brutal turning point in finance: compound interest escape velocity. Look, in the early years, the money you manually scrape together and contribute matters the most. But after 15 to 20 years, passive returns absolutely dwarf new contributions. At 52, Jake's portfolio is passively generating roughly $59,000 a year in investment returns without him lifting a finger. Meanwhile, Marcus is sweating to manually contribute $7,200 a year in new, hard-earned money. Marcus's manual effort is just completely, utterly outmatched by Jake's passive compounding.
To really wrap our heads around why Marcus couldn't catch up, let's jump to section 4, the time multiplier, and look at the underlying compound magic. Every single year Marcus waited, he didn't just lose a year of putting money in, he lost a year of compounding on literally everything that came after it. Let's break the math down. Every dollar Jake invested at age 22 had 43 full years to work for him before he hit 65. At 10% returns, one single dollar grows to roughly $60. Every dollar Marcus invested starting at age 32 only had 33 years to work, growing to about $23. That simple 10-year head start means the exact same dollar invested earlier produces 2.5 times the result at retirement. 2.5 times. That is not some marginal little difference. That is an entirely different financial reality.
All right, we have arrived at the climax of our story. Section 5, the final scoreboard at age 65 retirement.
At 65 years old, Jake's final portfolio is sitting at a staggering $2.1 million. Marcus, using the exact same strategy, the exact same funds, finishes with approximately $800,000. The catch-up illusion is just completely shattered here. By simply waiting to get his financial life stable from age 22 to 32, Marcus ended up $1.3 million poorer at retirement. No way around it.
Now, here is the number that is just going to absolutely blow your mind. Think about it. How much more of his own actual hard-earned cash did Jake actually contribute during that 10-year head start? Just $36,000. So let that sink in. Jake put in exactly $36,000 more out of pocket than Marcus over his entire lifetime. And that simple $36,000 literally triggered a $1.3 million wealth gap. The real cost of waiting wasn't those $300 monthly payments Marcus skipped. It was the permanent, unrecoverable forfeiture of 4 decades of compounding on those early dollars. The math for their entire lives was basically decided in that very first decade, before Marcus even opened his account.
Now, as much as we champion starting early, let's look at Section 6, when waiting makes sense, because there are a few exceptions where it actually is the right call. We definitely need to be balanced here, because there are 3 strict scenarios where achieving immediate stability mathematically beats the stock market. Number 1, if your employer offers a 401k match, that is a literal 100% immediate return. You absolutely capture that before doing anything else. Number 2, high-interest debt, like credit cards above 15%. The guaranteed return of paying off a 20% credit card beats anything the stock market can ever offer you, for sure. And number 3, you absolutely must have a 3 to 6 month basic cash cushion, because if you have to sell your investments at a loss just to cover an emergency, you're losing on both ends. But, and this is a massive but, guys, if your debt is manageable, you're getting your match, and you have that basic cash cushion. Every single month you delay after that is a choice with a massive, highly visible price tag. You know, Jake and Marcus both genuinely thought they were being smart, but Jake won out because he started when his clock still had 43 years left on it. As this quote beautifully highlights, the real trap is not investing too little. The real trap is waiting until conditions feel perfect before you begin. Because guess what? The market always feels too high. Your salary is always going to feel too low. Conditions will literally never feel perfect, and waiting for them to magically align is an unrecoverable mathematical mistake.
The only way to capture what Jake captured is to start exactly where you are today. And hey, if you're already past 32, obviously the math changes a bit, but the core principle absolutely does not. The second best time to start is right now. Don't wait for next year when things magically settle down, because next year you'll just be saying the exact same thing. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. The next time you catch yourself saying you'll start investing soon, take a hard look at the math and calculate what soon is actually going to cost you. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today, and I really hope this math empowers you to take action right now.